What's up, y'all? My name is Jasmine, and I'm taking you guys along with me to go ahead and get ready for a party. So first, I go ahead and put my hair back, whether it's clipping it or putting a headband on. Then I'm gonna go ahead and apply some primer. I suggest using whatever works for your skin. Everybody has different skin textures, so that's the one that works for me. I feel like it doesn't allow my skin to get too oily or none of that, and it grips onto my makeup products very well. But then I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my eyebrows. I don't like to fill it in too much just because I don't really like a boxy look when it comes to my eyebrows, nor do I like them to look really dark. So I really just like line them up on the gaps where I feel like it could need some help. Like you see that I fill up the bottom to line it up and then the top to box it out a little bit. But even then, like, yeah, I don't know. My eyebrows, I like to keep them a lot more natural than dark. Just because y'all remember that 2016 era. Yeah, my shits was thick. So, yeah. Then after I fill it in a little bit, I like to blend it in with the spoolie and, like, blend out those harsh lines that are formed just because, makeup, it's really easy to make it look darker than it is. Then I like to go ahead and gel down my eyebrow hairs. I like to do this because I feel like it gives it a really clean look. And your eyebrow hairs won't get messy throughout the day, which I feel like it happens if you don't brush them down. I like to use that. It's like, I think it's Brow Me, the eyebrow gel. But I also, sometimes I use a clear gel. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. But since it's a party, I do like to use the tinted one. So next, I'm going to apply some cream contour. I fell in love with doing this just because I feel like the powder, it just doesn't accentuate the same like pigment I want for a bronze look. I feel like if you use a powder, it's easy to like smudge it off versus if you use cream, any cream product, I feel like it's like really just like it's synced into your skin, so it doesn't easily rub off. But how I like to blend it out, I like to use my little stiff brush and I like to blend it back. So instead of blending it forward, I blend it all back just because that's where the dark areas are at. Versus if you blend it forward, it's harder to fix the problems that you create, So I also like to use my face shape map to find what places I should contour. And then I also go according to what I like. So, yeah, I suggest looking up your face map just because everybody does have a different face. Mine is an oval shape, which is why I placed it in the places I did place them at. Honestly, for this step, I feel like it's really crucial to blend things out. But, now I go ahead and use some cream blush because for the same reason, I feel like it adds a lot more pigment versus using just powder. It doesn't really stick on or, like, last as long as you wish it would. So I go ahead and just apply some of that on my apples, my cheeks, When it comes down to using cream products, especially really pigmented ones, unless it's like, I don't know, skin color, I like to really blend it out because if you don't, it will show through everything. It will. And especially considering it's the base, you want it to be very skin-like. But now I go ahead and apply some concealer around my eyebrows so I could go ahead and shape it calmly and peacefully before, it looks a little crazy if I do that at the end. So yeah, I go ahead and line that up as much as possible to give it a really clean look just because when you fill in your eyebrows, it could tint out to your skin and make your eyebrows look thicker if you don't clean it versus if you do clean it. It looks really clean and cut and it doesn't look crazy or thick or bushy. It just looks really, really nice and clean. So yeah, I go ahead and take my time with that and I make sure they look like sisters, not cousins, because it will show in the pictures, dog. I'm gonna just say that much. So that's one of the things I like to take a lot of time on just so it doesn't become a problem later on or like halfway. But yeah, I really like to focus on getting it as precise as I can. Then I go ahead and smooth out the concealer so there's no harsh lines of concealer, but I'm gonna go ahead and blend that with a sponge later anyways. So yeah, now I go ahead and apply some concealer on the T-zones of my face. I like to do this because, like I said, it's a really minimal going out look. I'm not a really big fan of foundation, to be honest. So concealer is my baby. Concealer is my old reliable, and I don't know, it be eating every time. So this look, I'm not going to use no foundation. It's just going to be concealer. But yeah, I go ahead and use the lighter color in the insides and the like skin type color on the outside just to give it a smooth blend. And I go ahead and blend it from the outside inwards. So I also like to blend on my eyelids right now that I don't have lashes on, just so it looks a little bit more, I don't know, tied in together, and it gives them the same look throughout. It doesn't look like, you know, like my eyelids are dark and then my face is like white or nothing like that. So yeah, I go ahead and just blend the fuck out of my face. For this sponge, I like to use a smaller sponge just so I could be more precise on like the outcome. Then I like to use a bigger sponge, and I blend out the outer skirts of my face so my concealer blends into the rest of my skin, and it doesn't look like it's like bam, concealer, and you know, it doesn't look sectioned out. So everything looks very smooth, and like, you know, you can see right there, it looks very, I don't know, very smooth. It doesn't look like there's any harsh lines, which is what I like to go for. Anyway, so now I'm gonna go ahead and grab some banana powder, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply that to my whole face just so I could settle down the cream products and have them not smudge off. So I like to press powder my T-zone with a little triangle, and I like to make sure there's no creases or none of that. And I like to make sure that my eyes are fully covered, because you know your eyes are like the most oily. Your eyes and your nose, I say, are the most oily parts of your face. So I really like to focus on covering all of that just to make sure I don't have any oily issues later on. But yeah, I like to cover that T-zone up, and then I grab a flat brush, which y'all will see in a bit. So this is the flat brush I was talking about. I like to tap it on the powder, and I like to just brush over my whole face. I also like to brush off the powder that I pressed onto my T-zone, and I just blend out my whole face just to make sure it's all like on the same vibes, you know, on the same tones, and there's no excess powder. And I basically just keep going until I'm like satisfied, you know, until I feel like there's no more, until I feel like my whole face is matte, basically, you know. Also, depending on how I feel, I like to leave a little bit of powder on my nose just so it's a little bit extra highlighted. But no, yeah, now I go ahead and settle down all the powder with a setting spray. I like to do this in between just to make sure that, I don't know, that my face isn't too matte and it isn't too, like, you know, creamy or nothing. I feel like it just lifts up all the powder that I just applied, and it sits it right back down. And it, at that point, your skin, all that makeup is like skin, damn near. Like, that's really the texture we built up by doing that. But I also like to use a fan, as y'all saw. But yeah, now go ahead and brush that powder off my nose, and I like to apply some bronzer just because I feel like if I add more contour, it's going to make my face look too dark. But I feel like adding powder bronzer, it smooths out the cream contour with my skin, and it just makes it look all natural, like, you know, like it's just a little smooth tan, and it just doesn't look as harsh as if I was to just rely on the contour. But yeah, now I go ahead and grab my eyebrow pencil, and I like to spot in my freckles, because I feel like if I don't do that, my face tends to look either different, like I just don't look like myself, or it looks like it's a little bit dirty, like I didn't conceal certain parts that I had to. You know, it's freckles. I have to tuck them bitches back in. But now I go ahead and apply some blush, bring some warmth back into my face. And yeah, I like to add that and brush it upwards and back, just because blush, I mean, we're in a blush epidemic, y'all. Like, people are applying too much blush, and I'm honestly one of those people, but I like to be really careful with that now. So I try to avoid the inner T-zone of my face, and I like to keep it like more blended with the contour than anything. And like y'all seeing right now, I'm even blending it out with that, and it still look a little crazy. And depending on like how I feel, I also use some pressed powder, and I like to like dim out the pinkness, just because like I said, we're in an epidemic. I'm trying to avoid that like extreme look, but I still like blush so much. So I like to keep it at a good balance. So y'all can see me pulling out the pressed powder that's like skin color. That's honestly a lifesaver, especially in emergencies like this where you want to like make sure that there is highlighted, highlights and not make it look crazy. Like I feel like if you add powder, like regular powder, it'll make it look white instead of, tan. Anyways, so now I'm gonna go ahead and apply some highlight to my face. That's, you have to do that. I like to use the Fenty one as my lighter shade, and I use a golden flower crown from Wet n Wild for like a more skin tone type of highlight. It's that one. Looks so ashy. All my makeup looks ashy, y'all. Please disregard that. I rarely do my makeup, but then at the same time, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just all messy, and then the glue be spilling, and yeah, y'all know how that be. Anyways, so yeah, I go ahead and apply my highlights, and then I blend it out a little bit with the sponge. And now I'm gonna go ahead and pick what eyelashes I want to put on. I wasn't sure if I wanted the dramatic ones or if I wanted the natural looking ones, and since it was a party, I went ahead and used the dramatic ones. And I like to use that duo glue. I feel like, sometimes it will pull out some lashes, but it will not lift as easily as some of the other glues. So, and it's not black, so it won't stain your eyelid if you accidentally put the eyelash on wrong. So I feel like, I don't know, this is my favorite for sure. But yeah, I go ahead and apply my lashes, let that thing dry up a little bit, let it get tacky and apply it, and then you just stick it on. But yeah, also I really like these lashes because I feel like even if you don't do eyeshadow, it looks so cute. Like, it looks like you damn near, like, it looks like you did do eyeshadow. I don't even know what I was listening to be honest. I was just listening to like, I think it was like, I don't know. I was probably listening to Beano, to be honest. But yeah, I go ahead and glue up my other lash, and I just apply that hoe on. And yeah, this is when you guys pick like whatever eyelash brand y'all like or prefer. I'll be using, this is like the Baby Doll triple, I don't even know, I think it's like Triple Push or some shit like that by Kiss. I don't know if y'all know any good eyelash brands or like just like eyelash styles in general. Put me on, y'all, because I be looking for those, and honestly, like, it be hard trying to find those because sometimes it be hella thin. I don't know. Anyways, so, but yeah, put me on, please put me on, because I like to explore different styles and all that. But yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and grab some mascara. I'm gonna blend those dusty lashes. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna blend my eyelashes into the false eyelashes, just because if you don't, it will show or it'll look undone. And I feel like it just makes everything look so clean. But I also add it to my bottom lashes, and like I just tie it all in together. I'm using the magnetic something magnet by Benefit, that mascara. That's, I don't know, one of my all reliables. That one and the Bang one. But I feel like my lashes needed the little curve. It needed to curl a little bit into the lashes, so I used that one. Anyway, so now I'm almost done. Basically, you can take off the headband or whatever. And it really is just applying your favorite lip products. Lately, I don't know, I be switching up my lip products, but these are the lip liners I rely on all the time. That one's a ColourPop. It's in the 3-pack of the BFF Trio. I lost my favorite color, but yeah, that's why I use like 4 different colors. That's why I use 4 different colors. So I use like a medium tone to blend that darker one in, and I use this lighter tone to really like, blend it even more in. And then I go ahead with the clear lip gloss, and I just like blend it all in by doing that. And honestly, I've been liking that, but I probably do need more of a middle tone just because I'm tired of taking 3 lip liners everywhere. That shit's annoying, but fuck it, hey. Anyway, so this is the last step, and we go ahead and spray our face and settle everything down, and we are ready for the function. We just got to do our hair and we gotta change, so probably change and then do your hair last. But yeah, I hope y'all like the makeup look. This makeup look lasted me until fucking like what, 3 in the morning. I still didn't even want to wash my face because it looks so good. But yeah, I hope y'all like the look. And
ella se toma una piqui, ella tiene un friki, friquitona, mami, esto está easy, no te pongas crazy, yo sé que te gusta, toma, ella se toma una piqui.